I'm Shelley Fold-Nasso, CEO of the National Coalition for Cancer Survivorship. I had the honor of working with Ellen Stovall for years in the cancer community before I joined NCCS in 2013, and I worked closely with her for the last 3 years. When Ellen stepped down as the CEO of NCCS in 2008, the following video was made to pay tribute to her years of advocacy on behalf of cancer survivors.
December 23, 1971, President Richard Nixon declared war on cancer. That same day, 24-year-old Ellen Stovall, the new mother of an infant son, began to wage her own war against cancer as she started treatment for stage 4B, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Doctors told Ellen her odds of surviving were less than 20%. Hearing those words, the young mother from suburban Maryland made a vow. If she made it to the 2-year mark, she promised she would dedicate the rest of her life to cancer advocacy. One vow from one survivor would take cancer advocacy to new heights, giving hope and making a difference in the lives of millions touched by cancer.
She is not someone who takes up a cause lightly. She embraces it, she breathes it, she lives it, and she puts it out there for everybody to understand.
I was actually a founding member of the National Coalition for Cancer Survivorship, and as the organization evolved, it became clear that we needed to have a Washington, D.C. presence. And Fitzhugh Mullan, who had been very instrumental in the founding of the organization, said, well, I have the perfect person to head up our Washington office. And she certainly lived up to everyone's expectations.
Clearly Ellen had organizational abilities and a sense of mission and an idealism that kind of buoyed her every action. So I think aside from helping get the organization going, the other most brilliant move on my part was grabbing Ellen and putting her in harness and keeping her there.
Well, I think the history of the Office of Cancer Survivorship is very dependent upon the existence of the National Coalition for Cancer Survivorship, because the coalition back in, I want to say 1995, put together a white paper on where did we need to go next with survivorship issues. Ellen Stovall took that summary and presented it to the then director of the Cancer Institute, Richard Klausner, and said, you know, these are the imperatives that we think are important. And Dr. Klausner read those and came back to Ellen and said, you know, I think you're right, we need to do something about this. And he said that we need to create an Office of Cancer Survivorship at the Cancer Institute, which is what he did.
Every year, 1.2 million people get a diagnosis of cancer, and 1.2 million people's lives, to the extent that they're made better, have been touched or are going to continue to be touched by things Ellen has done to refocus cancer care and cancer research in this country.
We've worked as ASCO so closely with NCCS over the years on so many projects, it's hard to mention them all. Ellen has brought together the advocacy community in this group called the Cancer Leadership Council, which is one of the most important groups to advance ideas and kick around concepts. I think the Institute of Medicine's report came from a lot of her pushing, and now ASCO is very involved in survivorship, creating follow-up care plans for patients, a survivorship track at our annual meeting where we educate our members in this area. All of this comes directly with our work together with Ellen and NCCS.
Ellen understands that while one person receives a diagnosis of cancer, the illness is owned by the entire family. She's really been a courageous voice in calling attention to the need for people living with cancer to get full attention to their comfort and quality of life, their physical, emotional, social, and spiritual needs, as well as the needs of their families. She has really enabled us to bring the creativity and the energy of palliative care to begin to really meet the needs of people throughout their journey with cancer.
Today we defy the politics that deliberately divide us, all the politics that dare to put a price tag on cancer, on the millions of human lives touched by this horrid disease. Today we say, no more cancer.
Her goal, or one of her many goals, was to make sure that people didn't feel like they were victims to this disease, and to make people understand how to live with the disease and how to live full, incredible lives. I used to say to Ellen, you're out there doing our grunt work and you do it better than anyone.
And we're very tired of watching our friends and loved ones die while they continue to work on these issues.
Working in the Congress or working with the regulatory agencies is not easy. It takes a lot of stamina, but it also takes an agenda that has credibility with the public as well as the elected officials or the appointed officials. She never, ever lets her ego take over for her agenda.
She has a wonderful gift of convening and being able to help people find the common ground. You know, she is just so likable. No one has a bad word to say about Ellen.
We talk about leadership and we talk about leaders, and generally people, when you talk about leadership and leaders, they think about generals and football players and that sort of thing. No, when I think about leaders, I think about Ellen.
It's hard to find someone who's more passionate than Ellen. If she's making a commitment to something, she does it 150%. There's no way of stopping her.
Ellen is everything. She is the NCCS leader. She's its cheerleader. She's provided its vision, its drive, its focus, and she's accomplished all of that with just a very stunning level of integrity for the patients and for the cause.
God bless Ellen Stovall and NCCS. I mean, what a gift they've given to anyone challenged with cancer and their families.
She has been one of the most important figures in the last 20 years of really advancing quality of care for people living with cancer and their families. Ellen Stovall is a hero in America today. She is truly a great American. I am deeply privileged to also say she's my friend.
She has accomplishment after accomplishment, and I know, thank goodness, she's not done. There will be more in the future.
My name is Nina Wendling, and I had the unique opportunity and privilege to work with Ellen Stovall at the National Coalition for Cancer Survivorship for the last 10 years. Though Ellen stepped down as CEO of the organization in 2008, she never left NCCS. She continued to serve as the Senior Health Policy Advisor, focusing on the issues that were important to her and to the organization. Serving as a Senior Health Policy Advisor for NCCS allowed her to continue to do the work that was so important to her. What many people don't know is that Ellen was doing this work while facing challenges that were caused by the late and long-term effects of both her cancer and her cancer treatments. You know, words don't convey the importance of the work that Ellen's done. She's one of the few rare altruists who did her work purely for the benefit of others. I like to say that though Ellen was small in stature, she cast a long shadow, and one that we were all fortunate to be caught in.
Ellen dedicated her advocacy to empowering cancer survivors to live as well as they can with cancer and beyond. She believed in changing the conversation to ensure that survivors' wishes and values were included in decisions about their care. To honor Ellen's legacy, the board and staff of NCCS are committed to carrying forward this work to try to make cancer care the best it can possibly be for cancer survivors and their families.